Welcome everybody to Dropouts episode 28. We are here with JP, Maddie and Shawnee B, and we've got a pretty cool episode this morning. We're going to be talking about conspiracies, but before we jump into that, make sure you follow us on Instagram, YouTube, and all your listening devices or wherever you listen to our podcast. Thank you also for listening to us this long into it. Episode 28. Almost at 30.
Jeez.
But yeah, conspiracies, boys. And I just want to say before that, if FBI or CIA are listening, it was Maddie's idea. He wanted us to talk about it.
If I suddenly go disappearing off the map, it's not because, I just decided to give up on the podcast. It's because they came and they hunted.
Because we uncovered some truths.
And
also, look at all these... all the conspiracies that we looked at, like a lot of them are centered around like America, obviously. And JP, you just went to America. You've just come back from America.
Yeah, that's right.
How was it?
Yeah, great trip. Went to did New York and did Hawaii. Unfortunately, we got rained out a lot in Hawaii, but we had a great time. New York was just unreal. Kristen's Christmas obsessed, as you would have seen when you walked in the front door.
Yeah, it looks beautiful.
And that's not even the finished product. We just it was just really nice vibes. It was obviously a bit chilly, but it was nice. You kind of rug up. The Christmas lights are everywhere. The displays are all over the city.
It's exactly like the movies, I'd imagine.
Bro, it is. New York is exactly like the movies. And that's how it feels too when you're in it. You're like, whoa.
I always think of Macaulay Culkin from Home Alone.
That's such a good movie.
That's the greatest movie of all time. Harry and Marv. I love when he just knocks those motherfuckers out.
Yeah. Was it snowing? It's not snowing
Home Alone 3?
Was it snowing?
No. Home Alone 2.
Home Alone 2.
Home Alone 2. Home Alone 1 is when he's at home. Home Alone 2 is when he's in New York.
And he's got all the pigeons and shit.
Yeah, pigeon lady.
Yeah. But kick it off. Conspiracy theory wise, look, I don't think that all conspiracies are true, but I do believe in a good portion of them, and I'm keen to sort of unpack a few. I
guess that was the question. Like, what do you think about conspiracies as a whole? Are you like on the fence, like happy to listen to them and see what your sort of thoughts are? Like, I think there's some of them that you can sort of dive a little bit deeper into, but
I think it's always important to have an open mind, but not such an open mind that your brain falls out. All right,
falls out of your ass.
It falls out of your it falls out of your head. And look, sometimes I think there's been things in the past that had the title or held the title of conspiracy theory that ended up proving to be true. And I think we're going to dive in on them.
Yeah.
But you kick us off, Shawnee. Where are we going with the first one?
I think, because we were talking about this just beforehand, I think we should start off with, what are we talking about before? We're talking about, we got the 9/11 one, the Apollo program one.
I'll start us off. Ready? I'll start us off with one.
Earth conspiracy.
Start us off.
Is that what you're going to say?
I was actually going to talk. I was going to talk about the COVID vaccine.
Well, that's on here. That's on the list.
That is on there. But here's one. I want to start it off, ruffle some feathers a little bit, because I remember how many people were just like, no, I'm going to go get the vaccine. It's going to help me and my family. And now I know like 5 to 6 people in my immediate friendship group that have either had a family member pass away or get extremely ill and have a lot of health issues post-vax.
Okay, so let me read this then. Conspiracy theories related to COVID-19 have circulated since the early days of the pandemic. It's important to note that these theories are not based on credible evidence and often spread misinformation. The scientific community, public health organizations, and experts worldwide have provided a consistent and evidence-based understanding of the virus and the pandemic. Here are some common COVID-19 conspiracies. Biological weapon conspiracy. 5G technology and COVID-19. Okay, I remember that one. That was a pretty big one.
Yeah, I remember
in
that.
the early stages. Vaccine misinformation. Misinformation has circulated regarding COVID-19. Denial of the severity of COVID-19 and claims of exaggerated numbers.
Totally.
Like in the media.
100%. I remember there was big claims made, and there's a lot of doctors speaking out that had their medical license and practicing license revoked because that they were supposedly spreading misinformation that didn't align with the World Health Organization. But let me just say this, those governing bodies like the World Health Organization are the same people that are pushing this vegan agenda, that are pushing some, I guess you could say, blown up rates of the deaths, because they were saying that people that were even in a car accident that had COVID in their body were COVID deaths.
It was like they, if they had COVID, they would attribute the death to COVID as opposed to, like, let's just say someone, I don't know, I'm just, for argument's sake, I'm just curious, if someone banged their head on the floor of a shower and bled out and had COVID, while that happened, would they
Yeah.
attribute that to COVID? I don't know the answer, but
I think that might have been
there
the
was
case.
there was a lot of stuff where they were, but like I think that there's two schools of thought to it, right? Like I think that when you're so desperate to, like, you could look at it as though, like, if you're so desperate to fix a problem, you're going to do everything to ensure that the general public knows and thinks it's a problem.
Yeah.
So in that sense, you could potentially argue for, were they just so scared about it that they were pushing everything they possibly could, and then they got caught out on some stuff. So inevitably people are going to go, oh, well, they're clearly pushing an agenda and it's bullshit.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But like, don't get me wrong, there's actually so many conspiracy theories related to COVID. But if we just go back to where it all started, right? So the whole thing was like, oh, it's Wuhan, right? So, you know, the battle, the food and what have you. And then, do you remember when it first all kicked off, and China obviously had the first response to it. Therefore, they kind of were out of the woods earlier than everyone else. And I feel like the first conspiracy was like, did they release this on purpose to dive the US economy and the global economy so they could get ahead? I feel like that was the first thing that was like circulating.
Right.
Was this something that they released out into the world
for their benefit,
on purpose, for their own benefit?
Yeah.
But then they ended up copying it. So, I mean,
I think as well, you gotta go back to like, what would the purpose be of this? Like, why would, hypothetically, if this was really, the conspiracy theory was proven true, why would the World Health Organization, or this, you know, these governing bodies of the world that supposedly rule everything, what would there be their main drive into?
What would they gain from it?
What would they gain from
But
this?
you saw like Bill Gates a couple of years ago, he did this big speech and he talked about this pandemic that's going to potentially come. Like, he forecasted this whole thing, right? So that's another conspiracy theory as well, because he's going around buying up all these agriculture in America and all these types of things like that. So that's also a little bit of it as well.
Totally.
I'm not saying that that's true.
Bill Gates probably has another.
I'm not saying that's true. I'm just saying
theories of his
I don't
own.
trust
Yeah,
fucking Bill Gates as far as I could throw that fucking cunt, bro.
Everything's turned in terms of Bill Gates. Like, everybody's sort of having different conversations about him.
Even the World Health Organization, but you say that like the governing body of health that supposedly care for, you know, the well-being and the general health and, you know, your genetic makeup and what goes into your foods and all of these things, but they're the same people that are pushing for you know, the eradication of like animal-based protein diets and
are they actually,
bro? Bro, there's so many studies that come out
that might be linked into like global warming, etc. That's another conspiracy that's on
global
here.
warming, that's another one, eh?
Well, that's another one that's on there. Yeah. So,
I know, there's so many to dive
but it's
into.
also about is a political agenda as well. Like, that's the whole consensus when you look at those big organizations. Like, are there people in there who are in power who are looking for more power in whatever ways they can? So I know that, I guess that's another conspiracy. But with regards to the COVID, what were your first thoughts on it, both of you? What were your first thoughts about it when it first came out, and how did your thought about the COVID-19 change over the time? Like, the 2 years that it was around, or however long it was, 3 years, 2 years, 3 years?
Initially, when I was in Japan, it first broke news right before I left. I think it was January of 2020, and I had flown over to Japan, and then they were, you know, sort of weary about it and, you know, a little bit taking the necessary precautions. And then right as I got back from Japan, I think I was there for about a month. So like end of Feb. Yeah, end of Feb, because I left at end of Jan. I got back, and then that's when the shutdown started, pretty much like March, very early March, that we all got locked down completely. And I think obviously at the time, everyone was like, fuck, what the hell?
It's crazy.
Fully locked down. Like, you can't,
yeah.
all the shops are closed, everything. And it was such a shock to the system. And I think like all the news covered it, and it was just all the rave. So I think at that point, there was no skepticism on my behalf. I was like, wow, this is just like a general issue.
Everyone was just shitting.
Everyone was shitting themselves.
It was massive. It was crazy.
I think as it pushed into 2021, and we started to see, I guess, the breakdown of like who was being held to what standards when you go and live in Granville and you got like held to gunpoint for not wearing a mask.
Yeah.
And then you go to Bondi, who was like trying to take sneaky trips to go for a fucking swim. And then you've got like literally everyone hanging out on the hill having a party, drinking.
I'm just inspecting apartments.
Little trick over there.
That was the trick. That was
But
the
that
little
was when I separated with my ex, I moved to Western Sydney, to Parramatta. And
Where were you before that?
I was out in Thornley.
This guy.
So then I moved over to Parramatta. So this was the second week that the pandemic occurred, and then the weekend after it was like, okay, you can't go 5Ks out of your radius. Remember how they had the 5 hubs or whatever?
Yeah,
in Western
bro,
Sydney?
the LGAs.
And then we had to wear masks outside. Because I used to go train at the park at Parramatta, at Parramatta Stadium. Bro, we had to wear masks outside. Remember that? But it was only that hub that had to do it. and that 5K radius. So
that was the most
that was
ridiculous
crazy.
shit ever.
But again, at that time, like you said, like you sort of just like, well, what is this? And then obviously you get more information from people that are coming out saying, well, doctors who are coming out saying certain things against it. That's when it sort of started to turn and
and then it goes into the
mindset.
It goes into the depopulation agenda. Is that part of the thing here? Are they trying to?
Bro, there's so many
So much. I know.
spin-offs, yeah.
Okay, let's put that on the back burner for now.
Wait, one thing though. Elon Musk did he did a podcast like a month ago, and he said there's not a population problem. He said there needs to be more people.
Yeah.
Do you remember
He
that?
said the exact opposite. He said that
exact.
we need to like populate further. populate the Earth.
I love when the other day he's like,
To Disney?
"Go fuck yourself."
Yeah. The man, that was so
If
funny.
you're gonna try and
Blackmail me with money.
you can go fuck yourself. Is that am I clear?
Am I being clear?
Yeah.
Go fuck yourself.
The interviewer was like, "What?
Hey, I
What did
love
say
that.
now?"
Elon is a heavy duty, but
Oh, bro, hard.
then there's like the talk that is Elon really controlled
Are we
opposition.
going into Elon? Yeah, I know what you're saying. You know, I got someone I know who was telling me that Elon supposedly in the Old Testament was actually a joke.
Yeah.
Of like I don't know anything about it, like as a character.
There has been, there's mention of the word Elon in the Bible and then some other sacred texts as well.
Anyway, back to so I mean, what's interesting about the COVID stuff now in particular? There's obviously been so I think when it really started to, I think when everyone started going, well, this is just a load of absolute rubbish, was when I feel like it started when they came out. They said the vaccine is this effective, what have you. You're not going to. It's going to be less transmissible. Everyone gets the vaccine, and
then you get
it's
it
spreading like wildfire, and everyone's like, "That's ridiculous."
Yeah.
And obviously, one of the biggest claims was that, like, oh, you know, like everyone has this vaccine is a defense for the individual. Like everyone has their own defense. Yet they were still pushing this whole like, oh, everyone has to get it, and this herd immunity thing. And in my head, the one thing I was always confused about was, personally,
If it helps you, then why does me helping you help you?
Why do I have to get it if supposedly this is your defense? You getting it is your defense.
Let's go on the.
Therefore-
Are you vaxxed?
Yeah.
Are you?
Yeah, I'm vaxxed. Yeah.
Are you?
Nah.
Yeah. Well, to be quite
Yeah,
frank,
I wasn't gonna get vaxxed. Like I was like, I'm healthy enough.
Yeah.
I think on either side, whether I get it or I don't.
yeah,
but I had to go back to work, so someone had to
Yeah.
go back and teach, and I was like, yeah, I'll do it.
Yeah, I mean,
Like,
no-
Yeah, I get ya.
Yeah,
I was
easy
easy.
for me
Okay,
to
I
say,
know-
but
no,
like
whatever.
if your fiance at the time had a 96-year-old grandfather in the house,
Yeah, like
and
that's
he
yeah,
potentially
100%.
and everyone in that
And
household
let me tell you,
is vaccinated.
I get that. I totally get that. I absolutely get that because same thing sort of happened with my brother and my family as well.
Did he get it?
Yeah, he did because the same thing you're saying.
what a pussy.
They're like, for some reason, if he died,
You're gonna get blamed.
You're gonna get fucking blamed.
Exactly what I mean. And think,
Yeah.
bro, I'm literally at the point where I literally proposed to Kristen during COVID. So I was like,
Right.
if something happens to him and it has absolutely nothing to do with anything,
That's
You'll still
yeah.
get
I would, this
Yeah.
wouldn't be a thing right
I would
now.
be like, bro, you know what? Like, I know. Okay, so I'm not talking about you hit Kristen's grandfather here,
Yeah,
right?
of course,
Let's
of
just so in case anyone hears and takes the wrong thing, I still wouldn't
What?
get it. I still wouldn't get it because I'm like, but I'm not going to put my.
I'm not
going
gonna
to. You're
get it.
96, bro.
Yeah.
You can, you know.
But it's easy for you to
I only
say.
got the,
Easier.
I only got
Because you
the
weren't
first
in
two.
that
I don't-
situation.
Yeah, I don't get the first two. I don't get the boosters or anything like that.
No,
I just got the
fuck
first
no,
two.
neither.
boosters. That's bro.
Yeah.
And what
Bro, there's like there's five, isn't there?
what bewilders me is people are still lining up saying I still need my fifth booster.
Nah, I mean, there's just people, but you know what's interesting? Since obviously all this. Oh, do you remember that video of the Pfizer executive speaking in the Parliament saying like, "Well, no, what did she say exactly?" She
seen
basically admitted to the fact that no,
ineffective.
Yeah, we didn't talk about it like affecting it being transmissible or something like that, and people were like, "What the fuck?" But I even saw something just the other week, and I just found the article here now. Where there's a COVID inquiry over in the UK, and the government is like defending their response to the pandemic, and one of the parliamentarians, Michael Gove, actually came out and was saying like, well, due to the nature of the pandemic and the virus, it made it very difficult to respond because there's a mounting body of evidence that claims that it's man-made. So there's this whole thing now of like,
sheesh.
that's why it's like very difficult to like go in and go, well, which one, what's correct here? Obviously we'll never know, or we may know, like, is it man-made and will someone release it, or was it completely like everyone just completely milked the response? I don't know.
Yeah, but how are you going to find out? You're not going to find out from China.
Oh yeah, exactly.
No way.
Exactly.
Like, yeah. If it was or not, like,
But the
you'll
fact
never
is,
find out.
I think what's really interesting is that I always feel like there's the stuff that we talk about is probably not even aligned with what really happened. Like there's other stuff.
Yeah.
It's like with everything. It's like with the wars that are going on. Do we really know what the agendas are behind all this stuff?
Yeah.
Well, do you believe that, I guess there are powers that be that control the entire world and the way things move and the way things are?
I do, but I don't necessarily. I don't necessarily believe that they are structured in the way that we talk about them, in the sense that it's a new world order. I think it's literally just the most powerful people in the world get together.
It's just BlackRock and Vanguard.
And they're able to influence certain things to the nth degree. But I don't know.
But look at Pfizer, bro. Like Sean just made a great point. BlackRock and Vanguard, the two biggest holding companies that own literally every big brand.
Well, they don't own. So to be clear, they're investment firms. They control a lot or a huge amount of money that goes into those companies. But therefore, they have a controlling interest.
Yeah, but they will be able
to... They don't own, No,
not own, but they will be able to control.
They're key shareholders, so they're able to go in and say, they influence what those companies do.
We'll go look, and then, there's just so many things to sort of unpack here. But
George Soros, Antifa.
They are real.
Watergate.
Yeah.
Pizzagate.
But back to the COVID-19, like when it started to get a little bit more, when people started to sort of have this sort of conspiracy theory thought process, was, like you said, when the vaccine was being taken by people and they were getting the COVID again, they were still getting it back to back after that. But I think also, you look in America, like you talk about war, when they started to fire people from their jobs, like where they'll say, well, if you don't come back or if you don't have your vaccine and come back, you're going to get fired. So you're looking at the nurses, the doctors, you're looking at the Army, looking at the Navy, and in America now they've got flyers now for their Army and Navy saying that you do not need to be vaccinated, even though they were booted from the Army
for that reason.
And they were what's it called when they're honorably discharged?
I
think.
Honorably
so they
discharged.
lose their pension, they lose all these things, but now they're trying to backtrack and say, hey, we need you now because obviously what's going on within the world.
Okay, let's finish each, I think, conspiracy theory with
what do you think?
A thumbs up or thumbs down. What do you think, JP? Do you think COVID vaccine conspiracy true or not? I guess this is a very broad question.
I think they're like, I don't know about the whole, I don't know which one, but I think
there's an agenda beyond just our health.
There is some serious agenda going on there that I'm not, maybe I don't know which one it is.
So the vaccine was not in the best interest of the people.
I don't know. I don't know about the vaccine specifically. That's the thing, because you got to break it down to like we spoke about it being man-made. We spoke about the response. Was it about control? Them testing control? Like there's a whole bunch of them.
But all of those point to it not being in the best interest of the people.
But you just said the vaccine specifically.
Okay, COVID inclusive of the vaccine plus the entire way they went about it, all encompassing.
I don't know if it was a hoax, but I just know it was some bullshit.
That's pretty much saying it's a hoax without saying it's a hoax.
No, I would say that it's real. Like COVID-19 was real. Like the effects of it was real. But how they handled it, that's where it got a bit tricky. Like how they went about it. But again, it's like, how do you know? Like, what would you have done? Like, if you were in charge, what would you have done? That's what I always thought.
That's a good point.
That's what I always thought when they were coming out and they were talking about it. I was like, well, what would you have done? What was your response? Like, don't worry, everybody, just go about your day.
Do you remember when we were just sitting around watching Gladys Berejiklian every day?
Bro, Gladys was panicking.
And who's a health minister?
Oh, bro, that fucking.
Oh my, Kerry Chan.
She came to MISC.
She was copying it all over the internet.
She was sitting at MISC, and I saw her. I promise, about 5
to the back.
She had her hat on.
That's funny.
And she was put face down, and
I
literally, I don't know, bro, but I wanted to spit in her food.
You imagine being in that position, but.
Let me tell you, bro, her kids looked unhealthy. Unhealthy, bro.
But that's every health minister. Majority of the time, honestly.
Well, she's in that job for her expertise.
Nah. She's Satan herself.
She's not a fitness expert.
Sign her up to 180.
Brother, she can go.
All right. Let's move on before Betty
next
blows
topic.
the top.
All right.
Wait, go on the flat earth.
Okay, Okay.
Oh, this is Maddie's one. Let's go, Maddie.
No, not flat earth. This is different.
Okay.
I had some funny ones, but I'll read them out later. Like funny.
Is the music industry controlled by Satan?
Oh wow, I've never heard that one.
No, you've never heard that.
Well, I've heard like, oh, you mean like when these artists
like Doja Cat
industry plans and they sell their soul to be.
What I mean is this: is the industry of music controlled by evil powers?
Give us some more.
Satan.
The devil or who? Who's the devil?
Okay, so
who's the people?
Okay, so tell me what's the broader agenda?
Yeah.
Okay, so
corrupt humanity.
To corrupt humanity and turn them away from Christ. to corrupt humanity, have them worship themselves and worship false idols, in turn for worshipping the one true God.
So you're talking about Hollywood in general.
I'm talking about Hollywood,
like
celebrity culture, worshipping fucking celebrities for no good reason. I'm talking about the influence that they have in music in terms of the way, the things that this current generation values, and even going to generations prior. I'm talking about the things they discuss in their songs and the themes. I'm talking about the open worship of Satan. Like before, it was very, there was a lot of innuendo and it was very sort of tongue.
Oh, you mean like Lil Nas X and
tongue in cheek?
Doja Cat.
Like when they're dressed, and Lady Gaga,
bro, Taylor Swift, bro. All of these. If you watch some of these videos, it's like kind of undeniable when you look at it, bro.
I mean, I just, but that's the thing. Sometimes I look at these guys and I'm like, they're like, a lot of this stuff they're doing is clearly just for attention and to go big, to go viral, and to like. So like, I don't know.
Why is it when artists come to a certain level of fame, you start to see this transition from their original music that people began to know them and what I guess gave them that acclamation at the start, and then you start to see their music slowly start to move into a more sinister way, and it's happened with so many artists. I remember Lil Nas X had that song with Billy Ray Cyrus, "I'm gonna take my way."
But supposedly he's like.
But the thing is, for every argument,
supposedly,
I saw that.
For every argument in one direction, there's also an argument in the other direction. For example, I'll tell you, like country singers. I don't know. You don't see it with them. Like you see with the pop artists, but these country music singers are just as big,
straight, like,
if not as bigger. Justin Bieber went the other way.
But
they're
their own like we're talking specifically about who you comes top of mind when you think of Hollywood, the top trending Hollywood pop artists.
Yeah, I think like Taylor Swift, but I don't know how devilish she
bro,
is.
You should see some of her fucking demonic videos, bro. There's so much symbolism, bro, in all of their videos.
But even then, you can go into like Disney, and there's like symbolism in the Disney movies. Have you seen all that?
Yeah, Disney's a fucked up corporation itself, bro.
Yeah.
There's so much fucked up stuff with Disney. So much messed up stuff with Sydney.
The problem with all this stuff is it's if you look hard enough, you'll find it anywhere, which either goes to the argument that it is everywhere, or are we milking it?
Bro, I don't believe in milking it, bro. Like, I believe if your eyes are closed, your eyes are closed. But when you see some of the things that these artists are doing, bro, you see The Weeknd at his concerts, bro. They've got Satan,
if you want to see something
Satan
you would
flash in the background. The word Satan literally flash in the background.
If you want to see something cooked that will actually fry you and The Weeknd's in it, there's a series.
Oh, his new series?
It's called Idol. Have you seen it?
It's called Idol.
Bro, no. When you watch that, it's actually sickening to the point where they didn't renew it for another season because people were actually like, this is taking it to another level. That is pure.
Bro,
if you watch it, did you actually watch it?
Look, another one.
Did you actually watch it?
No, I haven't seen it. I refuse to watch that shit, bro. Travis Scott at his concert, Astro World. People were at that concert. I think
someone died or something.
Multiple people died at his Astro World concert.
Yeah.
They were playing music before Travis came out, and people were like, this is eyewitness accounts, like, we felt extremely under some sort of demonic presence at these concerts. They felt extremely anxious. They felt fearful. Before Travis came out on stage and done his set, they were playing a very high frequency noise it's called the fear frequency. So music plays at a certain frequency. That's why when you listen to some music, it can make you feel elated. If you listen to music at another frequency, it can make you feel quite, happy, and all these emotions. Music has the power to do that. That's why it says in the Bible, bro, like what you look at and what you hear, especially what you look at is the lamp unto your soul. What you're feeding yourself, what type of music you're listening to, what type of media that you're listening to.
I believe that. Bro, like in terms of what you consume. Yeah,
100%, and on a subconscious level. But bro, Travis Scott came out and the stage is literally an upside down cross, bro. It's going into a portal. It's got all these one-eyed symbolism and demonic Illuminati symbolism in the background.
That's what I was going to say, Illuminati, bro. That's the connection there.
I think it's hard to look past that, and I think people turn a blind eye. People always turn a blind eye. You got Lil Uzi Vert, who literally opened.
Some of those, like those new age rappers with their dreads and
they openly rap about worshiping Satan, and they're not even hiding it from you. So a lot of people say, "Oh, it's part of the art." They're just like part of that. They have to openly tell you what they're doing.
So let me ask you this then, and like I agree with you. When you look at some of these artists, those ones you're calling out specifically, it's very obvious that there's like all this death, destruction,
some symbolism in some way towards it. Yeah.
But then my question is, what do they have to do they have to gain from that?
Okay, so
more exposure, more celebrity status.
Ice Cube came out and said it. Ice Cube came out and said that the same people that own the prisons own the record labels. the same people that own the prisons own the record labels. So if there's this constant push for this war, drugs, gun violence, and overall crime in their rapping, it pushes these young people to idolize these rappers. That's why you're seeing the incarceration rates in America go super fucking sky high, because they're worshiping these rappers that Future came out and he goes, man, I don't even do so much drugs. I just tell these kids to go do it, and they go out and take their own drugs. And he's talking about drinking lean, smoking weed.
Yeah, but that's been around since the 90s.
Yeah,
100%
it's less gangster rap now.
It's less gangster rap.
It's more like I don't know,
fucking losing your soul.
Yeah. But in terms of like drug taking, in terms of like crime, in terms of gun violence, that's been around since the 90s.
No, absolutely it has. But the rates have spiked in an insane amount.
Yeah.
If you're looking at some of the big names in Hollywood at the moment, and then Justin Bieber came out and he was talking about, like, have you heard about these P. Diddy parties?
Yeah, well, he's under,
Bro, P. Diddy's
he's under a bit of an investigation these days.
What's this about?
P. Diddy, like, bro, even like the Pizzagate thing, there's so many things that you can sort of go down. Like, it's hard to go down the rabbit hole. It's hard to sort of, I guess, pick a certain direction in which we're asking.
Because you're saying, they're all connected in some way.
But I think Hollywood, Hollywood in general, like, there's a certain theme going on there. I mean, Epstein's Island and all this sort of stuff like that. I don't know. Like,
you've got all these celebrities that were on the same flight logs for Epstein, and then Epstein killed himself.
And then supposedly
killed himself.
Supposedly.
Yeah.
Well, and then that movie came out, the child sex trafficking.
I haven't watched the and you know what? What's interesting is, like, there's obviously forces fighting back, right?
Okay, and why would anyone with, like, okay, there are so many independent artists that are more talented lyrically, vocally, probably better entertainers on a stage, but yet you've got these people with no fucking talent that rap about rubbish. That have a platform.
People say the industry plans. The record labels are planning them so that they can control them.
Look at Sexy Red. Like, why is she being pushed? Tell me, like, why does that make sense? So she's purely got talent and people want to buy that music? No, bro.
Maybe because they own her.
She's corrupting a generation. She's going out and talking about, like, and there's always been one. There was Nicki Minaj, and there was Cardi B, and then there was fucking Ice Spice, and then, like, WAP. Bro, it's a fucking joke, bro.
Money.
It's a fucking joke, bro.
Money. I know we haven't spoken a lot about money, but a lot of this comes back to, like,
money and power.
It's greed.
Money and power.
Greed.
Yeah, greed as well. Yeah. There we go. It's good.
I got some funny ones.
Throw some funny ones.
I've never heard of them, but I just found a few. There's some, like, alternative ones, and there's some funny ones here. Oh, actually, let's talk about one that's, like, pretty mainstream conspiracy theory. The moon landing.
Yeah, moon landing.
So I'm just gonna talk about the things that come to mind for me straight away.
Before you do,
are you gonna talk about the moon landing or fucking not?
Did the moon landing happen? Yes or no? Yes, and then we can dive into it.
Bro, you know what your problem is? You find it very difficult to align yourself with someone that doesn't have an absolute opinion on something. I don't have an absolute opinion on that.
But
I don't. I do not, because the fact of the matter is,
I'm not saying you have to be right.
My answer is I don't know. Are you okay? Are you comfortable with that, or can you not associate with me?
I would be okay with it if the reason for you saying I don't know was for the fact that you didn't want to step on anyone's toes.
No. I genuinely don't know, because I don't. And guess what, bro? You don't either.
That's right. I don't.
You just have an opinion.
But I'm willing to say what my opinion is.
Yeah.
Exactly. I'm not saying that my opinion is right. It's just my opinion.
You've got to realize something. These types of topics, they're very deep. So, in my opinion, coming out with such a strong stance on anything appears unintelligent.
But no, it doesn't, because what comes across as unintelligent, what comes across as unintelligent would be you not willing to have a conversation after. However, if you just open the conversation with yes or no, then we can have a discussion and I'll be able to waver your opinion either side.
Here's the thing.
Are you okay for me on the fence?
Let me ask you something. Let me tell you something. And this is true. If you were to give me your opinion, I was to offer you a piece of evidence or something on either side, right, that you had never heard before, you could instantly change your opinion at the drop of a hat. So my point is that these topics are deep. They're not very high level, surface level stuff.
Yeah, but they're conspirations, not yes or no. It's just a conspiracy.
Exactly right. That's why I'm saying this is just a discussion. This is not like because the fact is I don't have when I think about it, if I ever think about it, I never go whether it did or didn't happen. The fact is that I've seen the stuff that everyone's seen, which is like the flags waving in the background and there's a footprint on the thing. All that, like, standard stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, but think about it, like, when was it? 20th of July 1969. You're telling me, like, I don't know as well, like, did it happen or not? I didn't even really care, to be honest.
I didn't even
care. Like, so 1969, you're telling me that in 1969 they flew to the moon and we haven't been back since.
That's a point A.
I didn't even think about that.
How the fuck have we not been back since? They didn't even have fucking
hold on.
they didn't even have a microwave
Hold
back
on,
then.
do we know that? Let's Google that. Let's have a look.
Bro, like, again, that's not me saying that it didn't happen. I'm just saying, like, brother, 1969. I didn't even think there was colour TV back
The last
then.
crew mission to the moon was Apollo 17, taking place 7 and 19 December 1972. This is one small step for man,
No,
and
but
one
that-
giant leap for
Yeah,
mankind.
but was that man? Was that man, or was it just a rocket ship in 1972?
I don't know.
The last crewed mission.
Oh, and 1972.
Sus photo, but
Yeah, but okay, even then, 1972. Like, bro, how come we haven't been back?
I'll
Like,
tell you-
Elon's trying to go back now. They did a rocket like a month ago, and they said it blew up in the sky, but they said it was successful.
That's the firmament, bro.
But
That's what they believe. They believe we're under a firmament.
yeah,
Yeah.
so the,
Okay,
Earth
so
is,
what-
the Earth is a dome, and it's like that, and there's a firmament.
Yeah,
it's
but-
like Bruce Almighty, literally.
yeah,
Literally.
But JP, what okay,
That's
so
what they're saying.
okay, is it the moon landing? So what is it? The flag? The
Yeah.
the
So
full
I mean,
flag?
I
What are some
don't
of
know.
those
Do you
things?
guys know anything more than that? All I
I don't.
remember is the flag, like
Yeah,
waving
that
and
was
then
the
going,
main
"Oh, well,
one.
there's no like wind on the moon." And
Yeah.
then secondly, you wouldn't leave a footprint. Is that right? 'Cause
Have you
there's
ever
no-
seen the Truman Show with Jim Carrey?
Oh yeah, that's good. It's a
No,
good
no,
show.
you're talking about. Oh, sorry, that's what I meant. Not
The dome.
not Bruce Almighty. I
No,
meant
no, no,
Truman
Truman
Show. I meant
Show.
the Truman Show because
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
where there's a firmament. He gets to the end and it stops, and
Yeah, bro.
God calls out to him
It's fucked.
in
bro.
plain sight.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's fucked, man. I don't know.
Bro, you know
bro.
when I watched that movie, I'm like,
I
are
tripped.
they like laughing at us?
Yeah, bro. I believe that.
Okay, so here's the question: do you believe the moon landing happened or not? What do you reckon, Maddie?
If we're looking at all the
Evidence?
the evidence,
empirical
the empirical evidence that we've just given, or just our discussing point, short answer, no. Would I be willing to change my
What's the
opinion?
agenda then, in your opinion?
I don't know what the agenda is. I don't know. I don't know what would they
It's
get out
always-
of faking the moon landing. I'm not sure.
It's always to keep your mind on something else to do something else. That's generally how it is.
No, I mean, you could say, and I haven't looked into this a great deal, but I mean,
Yeah, I've got
you
some
could
facts
say
here.
that once they've ticked the box, then it's like, okay, well, we've been to the moon, so space is legit. Tick the box.
And
Everyone knows we've been to the moon.
this sort of goes into, I guess, the flat Earth thing because it's all interrelated in terms of
Wait.
you know the makeup of our world. But I saw, and I don't want to come across as unintelligent or stupid.
Yeah, I wasn't claiming you were.
I know that. but
you know what
I know you are saying.
Because I'll tell you something. Like, for example, I would not expect, but it would be nice is if you were to believe something like that or you had an opinion on it, that you would have an opinion as to what the motive
And
is.
then I saw I saw a scientist sit down with a flat earther, and they had
that came up on my thing the other day. I didn't watch it.
They had
Wait,
they had
don't do the photo set. Let me just go through this moon landing.
Okay, go hard.
So, common conspiracy claims: studio production. Some conspiracy theorists argue that the moon landing footage was produced in the studio. Flag movement. That's what you said. Critics often highlight the movement of the American flag planted on the lunar surface, suggesting that it shouldn't ripple in the airless environment of the moon. Lack of stars. Some question the absence of stars in the lunar sky in the photographs, not realizing that the bright lunar surface and the astronauts' bright white spacesuits cause the camera settings to make faint stars invisible. No blast crater. Skeptics sometimes claim that the lunar module's descent should have created a blast crater upon landing, but the moon's surface, covered in a layer of fine dust, doesn't have the same way as Earth's surface. And in scientific and technical rebuttals, independent verification, multiple countries like Soviet Union tracked the Apollo missions, retroflectors, astronauts place retroflectors on the lunar surface during the missions, and these have been used for decades to bounce laser beams off the moon's surface. Samples returns the Apollo missions brought back lunar rock and soil samples, which have been independently studied and analyzed by scientists worldwide, providing conclusive evidence of the lunar origin. So there's the conspiracies and there's the rebuttals on that. But I think, like, in terms of why did they do it, I think because they were having the race to the moon with the Soviet
Exactly,
Union.
with the Russians, yeah,
With the
yeah.
Russians. So it's like, who's going to get there first? And it's like that
Yeah.
power.
The dick measuring
Where are the,
contest.
where are the
pretty
photos
much.
of the...
Yeah, pretty much.
Did Russia land? Yeah, they did. Where are their photos? Anyway.
Yeah, but anyway, so that was the... So you think it didn't happen? You on the fence? Same. Yeah. But that is my question, though. Why haven't they
Yeah.
gone back yet?
And I love your, like, you do, and I've always credited you for having a very open mind and being quite articulate in the way that you maneuver yourself around two different people like myself and Sean. But if someone held a gun to your fucking head
Okay.
He's still on this.
and said, "Did the moon landing happen?"
And I have to give an answer or I die?
Wow. Did it happen?
No. No, it
If he
didn't
said
happen.
yes, it would have been like
If I had to
another
give an
10-minute
answer,
conversation.
I absolutely had to. But the thing is, look, I
Why do you
appreciate...
think no, though? Okay, so why?
Oh, give me
No,
that.
you have to answer the question. Cut to your head. You have to answer why.
I'll tell you why. Just because, okay, you got to realize my amount of research on this topic is
Let me tell you
very
something.
limited.
Okay,
Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. The guy who's going to jump to the bungee jump.
Okay, the guy with the gun, and I'm the guy with the gun, says, don't waffle, don't give me no shit. Why do you believe it didn't happen?
Don't stutter. Wait,
Why didn't it happen?
Okay, stop yelling. Stop yelling. Honestly, because one, there shouldn't be air. Like honestly, it's the stock standard stuff. Why was the flag waving? Why did the footprint? If there's no gravity,
So pretty much what I just read out. Yeah.
Why haven't we gone back?
I hadn't even thought of that. Why haven't we gone back?
That's what I was thinking. But anyway, okay, let's move on because we're getting a little bit frisky here. All right, let's go to the flat Earth. You're sorry to cut you off there, but you're talking about the flat Earth.
Okay, so
all right. Flat Earth. Is the Earth flat or is it round?
Is it round or is it flat?
Or is it triangle or oblong? Is it rectangular?
Okay.
It's 4D.
What's this? Oh, let's talk. Can we talk about
Let's
the
talk
flat
about
Earth?
the flat Earth. So read the whole
Okay,
thing.
let me read it. Okay.
I just want to make a little caveat. We're not scientists, all right? I know JP might look like one with that beard. All right?
Okay, all right, let's have a look. So, historical perspective, the concept of a flat Earth was prevalent in ancient civilizations. Okay, that's what they used to believe, but it was gradually replaced by the understanding of a spherical Earth, supported by evidence such as circumnavigation, the changing position of stars, and Earth's shadow on the moon during a lunar eclipse. By the time the ancient Greek scholars like Pythagoras and later Aristotle had provided empirical evidence for a spherical Earth. Okay, so that's the evidence. Where is the claims? Flat Earth claims. Horizon and perspective. Flat Earthers often claim that the horizon appears flat. Gravity and falling objects. Gravity pulls objects towards the center of mass, resulting in a spherical shape. Objects fall straight down on Earth because of this gravitational pull. Sunsets and sunrises. Online communities and social media. Educational challenges. Yeah, so... gravity photos from space.
I saw a chat with, and look, here's the one I think, JP. This one, I don't know. And I think
I admire the fact that you said that.
I don't know.
Whether it's round or flat.
I think looking, you can look at things from two lenses.
It's very different. Can I just say just an overarching comment? It is. We have a tendency as human beings to gravitate towards the opinions that define our general being. Do you know what I'm saying? For example, if you tend to lean right and you're more conservative, you feel not obliged, but you definitely feel more aligned with things like, in general, conspiracy theories. Yeah. Yes or no? Like if you lean right, that's right. So
typically, yes.
It's like I encourage us, and I think that's what we're doing. I encourage us to think critically and not be threatened by the fact that we can
be wrong.
There can be complexity in our thoughts and opinions, and they can vary depending on the topic and stuff like that. Which obviously you've done anyway. But I guess that's what I feel like, because people find it when people like being able to rely on someone for a set of opinions that are consistent, because it's very easy to categorize people and know, are they on my side? Are they my ally? You know what I mean? That's why I love watching Jordan Peterson's videos, and I love watching, But again, Jordan Peterson is very much in line with your general thoughts.
No, it's in line with your beliefs.
So my point is, I encourage you to
delve outside of this.
I encourage you to just think of the word critical thinking. The best word is discuss. Because whenever you had to discuss something in school, you had to argue for and against, didn't you?
Yes.
And that's what I feel like.
I love that. I do love that, and I think it shows a certain level of maturity.
Yeah,
and intelligence,
and it actually gives you more ammunition if you were to actually understand what the other side is.
But you also, but when you think about the other side, you have to seek to understand before being understood. So, if you're having a conversation about whatever you're having a conversation about, I have to seek to understand why you think that.
Yes.
As opposed to just trying to come in and be like, well, no, that's this and that.
Yeah.
Because people don't have discussions these days.
Totally.
People have shouting matches, and it's almost like when they're yelling at each other, they're just separating from each other further, and they just have to yell their point across. So, I understand.
Let's have a look. I'd be keen to sort of.
Do you remember the Red Bull jump?
Oh, bro, that was frigging crazy.
Can I just say,
is that flat or is it round?
No, but that's what I mean. Is this bloke in the firmament, or what's he doing? This guy
in the what?
Where is he? Is he in space?
Let's explain the firmament. Can you look up the definition?
Let's come back to flat Earth. Let's for our audience.
This is very related to flat Earth. So here's the thing. Scientifically, all scientists would point to the Earth being a sphere, and typically, when you're talking about things that you have no idea about, The general consensus is that the scientist is right. But the reason that I love and respect scientists is that they need, probable cause for them to understand something. You know what I mean? They need like enough evidence to either there's more evidence that stacks on top of each other that points to the assumption that this is right, because you never truly attain truth. It's just stacking on top of points that get you close to the truth than absolute truth. That's what science is. That's why they're continually testing and testing and testing and testing.
Yeah, science is to be proven wrong. That's what science is like.
Literally.
To change and prove wrong.
But I saw a scientist sitting across from a flat earther.
It came out the other day, didn't it?
Was it out the other day?
Yeah, I sent you guys that video on Facebook.
Oh, was that? Did you send it to
you that
us?
sent it?
Yeah.
Was it you?
Yeah, I sent you the other day.
And he
It was a flat earther versus...
drags the beers across to each side of the table.
I did. Yeah. I didn't. I only watched the first.
I watched it all. And
How was
the
it?
flat earther...
He's ready for this conversation.
The flat earther came across as a fucking moron.
What was it leaning? It was leaning towards like who created it?
They were trying to make the flat earther seem like an idiot, which he kind of he tended to look like one, because the scientist is just. But then again, it's like
they just articulated a little bit better.
He did.
Yeah.
But you can look at things through like the sphere of science, or you can look at things through, I guess, like a spiritual lens, and it's hard to like science and they think that science ultimately points towards God, and I've heard a lot of scientists have actually end up finding God because you can't quantify and
between the two. So what makes you think that it's flat?
I don't think that it's flat, nor do I think that it's round.
Right. Oh, you're in the middle.
No, don't give me this. What if
Gun to my head.
Wrong.
Well, it talks about it does talk about the four corners.
Don't waffle.
It talks about the four corners of the earth in the Bible, and talks about the firmament. Elon Musk recently tried to shoot that rocket into space, and you said that it exploded. True or not?
Well, the central part of it, the rockets came away and then it exploded. So they think that it was a success, because before that exploded before. But anyway, so what go through like your thoughts about the flat Earth, like I mean I know you're on the fence, but like navigate what your thoughts are, because I know that you said that in the Bible it says there are four corners of the earth, but that was before Pythagoras and Aristotle came.
Yes.
Because if they thought that beforehand, yeah, obviously everybody would have thought that, because no one had gone to the end of the earth, or they don't think they had gone to the end of the earth. But all
the signs would point towards it being around Earth.
Yeah.
So I think from all and you can graduate from the fucking college of YouTube, and everyone can become an expert on the side.
But also, there's also like what you see, right? Like if you look at those photos from space, what does it look like?
I mean,
what you see is what you believe.
Exactly. But then obviously the people that are arguing the Earth is flat are just saying they're fake. They're fake or whatever.
CGI.
The problem is that in this world, we've come to realize that. What is truth? We don't really know what's true and what's not, because the fact is that I'll tell you right now, I know a guy who firmly believes that the Earth is flat, and I sit down and have a conversation with him. Yeah, firmly. Really? And the way he talks about it.
He look into it a lot more, because he would probably sound a lot more educated or informed.
He would actually be unbelievable to get on. If he would come on, but
for 100%,
he's this guy like he reads the Bible every day. His whole thing is that it is literally used to disprove God's existence. The Earth being round,
right,
and space and extra. This whole broader, like I'm talking like he will sit down and could have a 2-hour long conversation. And the fact is, you sit down with him, and he provides these points, and they all sound really, really, really credible. But then it's a matter of like, when you go and research these, or how do you? Because there comes a point where your knowledge is limited. Because let's just say we get to the topic of science, right? You then have to rely on someone else providing you that information and either believing it or not believing it, because you're not a scientist. You don't understand the rules of matter and gravity. You don't understand the science. So there comes a point where you just have to believe one or the other based on how convincing the arguments sound.
How good they sound.
You know what I mean? So the thing is, like, I don't like when people get written off for their opinion, their thoughts on or what their truths are, because the fact of the matter is that we've just been conditioned to believe what we believe, because that's what we've been taught from a young age. Like, I'm sure there are things in 10, 20 years that we believe right now, all of us, that will come to be completely disproven, or will look like fools, or whatever it may be.
Well, we just talked about COVID. So,
and COVID could be one of them. Maybe not, but maybe it is.
But what was his so when it comes to like the round Earth theory or the truth about that, how does that go against the Bible, or how does that? What was his argument towards that?
Yeah, so look, I mean,
Like, 'cause I don't understand
he
that.
quotes a lot of scripture around the four corners of the earth, and there's actually bits in the Bible that talk about the firmament around the earth, which is like a dome,
Like in the Simpsons movie.
The dome,
like the Truman Show, literally.
Or the Truman Show.
The Truman Show.
Yeah.
And he even gets to the edge and he talks to God. God's like, "What are you doing here?" Like,
But his God is the
turn
TV
back.
producer.
Yeah, exactly.
But what's the so flat? It's
They're
flat or if
laughing
it's
at us.
round? How does either disprove God? Like, 'cause
So,
I look at that.
and let me just. I don't
know the answer.
As I understand it, and I
Yeah.
might be wrong on this, and I'd have to ask him. But as I understand
Let's
it, it's
get him
got to
on.
do with like, well, the fact that like what is talked about biblically, nothing is mentioned about like outer space or a universe beyond
The world that we
the
live
world
in.
that we live in.
But does the Bible talk about stars?
Yeah, but the argument is that these stars are like inside the firmament. So look, honestly, I don't know.
Yeah,
But, actually, you know what? While you guys are talking, I'm gonna have a look into it.
I think this is a harder one to unpack because I've never actually watched YouTube videos for hours on the flat Earth theory versus round theory.
I've seen a few things, but I think it'll be good to get him on.
I think
that'd
I'd
be
love
good.
to be able to get him
Yeah,
on. I would love to
100%.
be able to get him on and a scientist and just see them fucking go head to head. What is one of the other light-hearted topics?
Let's go. Area 51. Aliens. Are aliens real?
Are aliens real? No.
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 Are aliens real? Oh,
No.
I would say no because I
Damn.
haven't seen them. That's the only reason why I'd say.
there's
But-
a conspiracy theory that talks about reverse evolution and that we are not
Progressing,
evolving, but we are descendants of a more advanced life form that is just declining.
Descending.
Well, tell us how was America?
Which makes sense
jokes.
considering
Which makes sense because you're
each
considering you're smarter
generation
than
is
me.
getting.
So I'm like a
Okay, so Area 51, highly classified U.S. Air Force facility located in the Nevada desert. It has been subject of various conspiracy theories, etc. Some key points. Secrecy and classified operations. Area 51 is part of the larger Nevada test training range and has been testing ground of classified material aircraft since 1950s. UFO sightings and Roswell incident. There was a program called Roswell, I'm pretty sure. The Roswell UFO incident in 1947, where an unidentified object crashed near Roswell, New Mexico, has often been linked to Area 51 conspiracy theories. Some claim that debris and possibly alien bodies from Roswell incident were transported to Area 51 for analysis and reverse engineering. It's funny just how it all just happened in America.
I know.
Like nowhere else in the world but in America. UFO enthusiasts and pop culture. Area 51 has become a focal point for UFO enthusiasts, conspiracy theorists, and those interested in extraterrestrial phenomenon. I will say they did have in Congress a guy, I forget who it was, came on and said that there were not aliens. They didn't say like there were aliens, but,
But
he said
recently
there
they've been talking
were-
about it.
Yeah, like there's something.
Recently, they've been talking about like aliens were very, very, very hush hush for a long time.
Yeah.
And now so much more. They're talking about it in Congress. They even have like official
Yeah,
images
Congress.
of like this alien body that looks like fucking paper mache.
Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah,
And everyone's
They
like tripping
found-
out.
yeah.
Like, why did that sort of? I guess I believe that the media is a big distraction from everything.
yeah.
You know what I mean? So they'll be bringing up things when like they're trying to distract you from what's really going on.
Yeah, that's why I don't watch the news.
Bro, watching the news, man.
Yeah.
Have you seen the ones about like there's stuff on the internet about Mark Zuckerberg being a reptile?
Yeah, the reptilians. Yeah, reptilians.
So there's this conspiracy theory about the reptilian elites, which alleges that there are that these elites are shape-shifting reptilian humanoid beings. And they secretly control world governments and institutions. So there's this
Simpsons
really
spoke about
viral.
it.
There's a really viral video. It's fucking hilarious by PewDiePie on YouTube. He's like one of the biggest YouTubers.
Yeah.
And just look it up and look up Mark Zuckerberg PewDiePie, and he creates the most hilarious video. Like just looking, when Mark Zuckerberg is in Congress and he's like talking to the camera, and he just looks
It's just
strange.
weird, yeah.
Yeah.
I think he's just a nerd.
And then you got Joe Biden like smelling
Here's another
children.
one.
Hugging children.
Elvis Presley faked his death. So it suggests that Elvis Presley faked his death in 1997 to escape the pressures of fame and roams today.
Well, that's the same as Tupac and B.I.G. That was like that's what they used to say back in the day as well.
Really?
Well, also
they
that
weren't
Tupac was
actually-
going to come back.
What
Yeah.
about the Titanic that sank? And apparently the reason that the Titanic ship sank was that one of the owners of the original bank or
Yeah,
something
the
like that.
Rothschilds.
The Rothschild, he was
Rothschilds.
meant to get on that boat and he originally
No,
just
the
ducked off.
Rothschilds were trying to get their competitors onto the boat, but for some reason they didn't get on it, and then it sunk. Yeah, it's
But
supposedly.
the thing is, if
the
this stuff was in a movie and it was a fiction movie, you'd be like, "Oh, what a hectic movie! That's
Yeah.
like so believable."
What about
But,
Mandela
what
effect?
happened-
The
I don't know.
Mandela effect. I
What's
love
that?
the Mandela effect. Have you
Go.
heard of the Mandela effect? The Mandela effect is essentially that people think that there are certain details of things that happened in the past. Some people swear certain details happened in a...
It's like deja vu.
Like deja vu. Like with Nelson Mandela. Many people believe that Nelson Mandela died... what year do they think he died? What's the discrepancy with Nelson Mandela? That he died...
I don't know.
Okay, let me read this.
Read it out.
The Mandela effect is a type of false memory that occurs when many different people incorrectly remember the same thing. It refers to a widespread false memory that Nelson Mandela died in prison in the 1980s.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
Memories are not
That he
always
died in prison.
precise recording.
He didn't die in prison?
No, he didn't.
Bro,
No.
I thought
He
that
didn't.
just now.
No.
Yeah. See, bro?
Bro, I literally was about to say, didn't he die in prison? I was about to say it.
Bro, why the fuck is
So
that?
he didn't die in prison?
No, he
So
never died in prison. So how did he actually die? This
No,
is
but
what I'm
where
saying.
did this get mentioned? Why do I believe that?
That's what I'm saying.
That's crazy.
Half the
Hold
wo-
on a second. So half the world believes it and it's not a source on the internet? Or
No,
anything?
he never died in prison.
No.
He
Bro,
never
you
ever
know,
died in prison.
If you rewind, I was about to say it, but I stopped until you guys finished what you said.
I
You'll
wish
see
you
it.
fucking said it. But bro, like literally Nelson Mandela never died in prison.
You actually hear me say, didn't he? And then
So
I
when did he
stopped.
die?
5th of December 2013.
2013, bro.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yo, give us another Mandela effect.
That's what, bro.
thing.
There's so many. There's one with the. There's like
That's
more
sick.
comical ones. That's so trippy, bro.
Okay, let's have
Okay,
a
there's
look.
one with Sinbad that he was. That
What a movie.
People swear Sinbad's not a movie. He's an actor.
Yeah, Sinbad,
But
the
it's
big
also
guy.
a
The
movie.
big.
Oh, is it?
It's also an
They-
animated movie.
They swear that Sinbad was in this movie where he's playing a genie. Many people all over
I
the
don't know who
world.
Sinbad is.
Sinbad is the actor.
Sinbad. I remember Sinbad.
I know the movie.
Look up Sinbad Mandela effect.
Oh, this is one here. Miss.
Did you hear that? Mario. No, I'm doing a podcast, bro. I'm recording the podcast. What's up? The door?
No, we've got 5 minutes.
Oh, all right, you guys continue. 2 minutes.
All right, so misremembering Mr. Monopoly wearing a monocle.
Oh, bro, I swear he was wearing a monocle. Never worn a monocle.
No, incorrectly remembering the last name of Bernstein Bear's
Berenstein.
family. And misremembering Mickey Mouse is wearing suspenders.
I swear Mickey Mouse wore fucking suspenders, bro.
Sheesh. What is the Mandela effect in Forrest Gump? Oh, that's a good one. I'll do the Sinbad one.
You know what he says?
I'll do the Sinbad
he
one.
it's the life is like a box of chocolates.
Yeah?
He says something completely different.
Wait, Mandela effect. Okay, Sinbad, Mandela effect, Reddit. Shazam.
Shazam.
I watched the movie.
Bro, it doesn't exist.
Bullshit. Remember Claire's about being non... Yeah, I watched it. I remember.
Bro, that's not a movie.
Okay, let's check it, because... Shazam. No, Shazam's like a movie now.
Okay.
Like Shazam's like an actual...
Okay, but look at this one. If you remember this, I'm going to trip out. Okay, so there's
I
supposed
remember it because he wore like this... he was like a genie or something.
Yeah, apparently it didn't
Who's this?
exist
Is
ever.
this the Sinbad thing?
Sinbad thing. Like Shazam's like a movie now. It's
Shazam's like a superhero
movie.
Yeah.
No, so just look up.
Who is Sinbad? Bro?
Sinbad is the actor, bro.
Show me a
Sinbad's
photo
actor.
of him.
Shazam movie.
Sinbad.
Sinbad.
VHS, see?
I watched Sinbad, that movie.
Yeah, I watched it, yeah.
You talking about the one with the cartoon one? Yeah,
No, yeah, the genie. See?
Okay.
Oh, he's the genie. Okay, so Mandela effect bullshit.
Yeah, but why do you think Nelson Mandela
bro,
died
that's
in
what I'm saying.
prison?
It's not real, bro. There was never a movie called Shazam. This is photoshopped.
Are you sure?
Bro, I promise. This is one of the biggest ones with the Mandela effect.
But that's him. That's Sinbad.
Yeah,
It's
that's
called,
Sinbad.
Maybe it's called Kazam instead. No such film ever existed.
Wait, why did you think Nelson Mandela died in prison?
I don't know. It's just in my head. That's what I mean.
Do you remember watching a movie with this guy?
Yeah.
Called
Can I just
Shazam?
say one
wearing
thing?
Wearing that.
Are we just...
Bro,
Yeah.
but this movie never existed.
Yeah, maybe. Jeez, what was I watching then?
That's
Oh.
what. No, but that's what I'm saying, bro.
He was in that Christmas movie with Arnold Schwarzenegger. Oh, what's it called? Oh, I forgot what it's called. It's a terrible movie from the 90s, but did happen even if people try to hide it from the collective memory. Saw it way back in the day. I remember watching it. Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying. If you ask Sinbad, there's no movie on record called Shazam with Sinbad ever.
Yeah.
That ever was produced.
Maybe he did something in Hollywood and he was cut.
Bro, I don't know,
maybe,
man.
maybe they cut him out of the records. 'cause he
Even
did
the
something.
Ford logo. If you look up the Ford logo, apparently in the F, it used to have no curl in the F. Like, look up Ford logo. Okay, guys, yeah, just bear with us.
What about the Matrix conspiracy theory?
What's that?
Well, the fact that we
are in
the
the
claim is like our reality is not what it seems. It's like a simulated construct created by advanced beings. Like, I mean, it's all based off the Matrix itself, of course.
Bro, how good was the first Matrix? That was hectic.
we could go on for hours
Brother.
about this.
Oh, there's a
hectic.
big one we didn't talk about.
What's that?
Maybe we'll get that on the next one, but tell me.
The 9/11 conspiracy theory.
Oh, yeah, that's
That's a
it,
big
bro.
one.
Yeah.
That's a big one.
Oh.
Okay,
It never happened by-
let's talk about. So obviously, what happened is that you know.
So you're telling me some sand monkeys overseas crashed a plane into
you're saying, what you're saying, they're too dumb to do it. So basically, as I understand it, the conspiracy theory goes that there's a few things. I don't know the extent of the source, because there's a few conspiracy theories like, Bin Laden was like actually apparently he was armed by the US at some point.
Yeah, totally.
And then there's the whole thing that like it was an inside job and there were like bombs at the bottom. If you watch the video, it looks like it blows
before.
up at the bottom, which I don't know, doesn't seem to make any sense.
Yeah.
Okay, here, let me read.
Read it out,
Okay,
read it
so
out.
obviously September 11. Do you remember where you were when that happened?
Yes, bro. In my kitchen, I woke up in the morning and my parents were looking at the
Bro,
TV.
we would have been at school.
And a plane hit the fucking towers.
Yeah. Bro, I thought we were going to go to war. Anyway.
I didn't actually think it was a big deal at the time because I
Let's
was
go
so
on
young.
the next step, I reckon. We're going.
Oh, yeah. Actually, you know what? This is a great topic for
Let's
part
just do
two.
this.
There's so many.
Okay, do you want to do this in the
Let's
next
do part two.
one? Okay, well, it's almost an hour. So
It's
yeah. Okay, so let's start with... Yeah, let's do 9/11. Oh, look, there's some pretty good stuff here.
Yeah, right. Well, we're
Let's save it.
going to dive into part two of conspiracy
Conspiracy
theories.
theories.
This is like
Yeah.
riveting stuff. If you have any like alternative conspiracy theories
Yeah.
that we don't know of or
Those
they're
like
not
big ones,
mainstream,
main ones.
like I heard of one like the birds are drones.
Drones, yeah.
So anyway,
And they're watching us.
we'll
yeah.
talk about
The
some of those
government's watching us.
alternative ones next step
Yeah.
too. And
Yeah, thank you for listening, everybody.
Thanks for tuning in.
If you're on the fence, it's okay. If you think it's real,
but
it's
if
okay.
you have
If you don't
absolute
think it's right, it's
opinion
all right.
on each one, but
But if you gun to your head, make sure you tell us.
safe space. But if you have a gun to your head, you
Safe
have to
space.
make a decision.
Yeah, right away.
Episode 28. We love you guys.
Let's
See you
go.
guys. Bye.
Thanks, baby.
Catches.
You.